Zardoz. We're going to talk about Zardoz.
What the fuck?
Yeah, look at this. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Space Opera Xanadax Across the Unknown Dimensions of the Galaxy from Image Comics, in stores now. I'm also the author of Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater from IDW. I'm the author of Twilight Zone Issue 2 coming soon from IDW. And I'll be at the Ditko Comic-Con. It's a comic convention in honor of Steve Ditko. That'll be in Ditko's hometown of Johnstown, Pennsylvania this Saturday.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And yeah, we're talking about Zardoz. And I again, like, Zardoz has made some appearances on our show from time to time. We have referenced it. And so it's about time we did a proper Zardoz review.
Tom, I have a DVD copy from like the early 2000s. The one that's on Amazon is so crisp and clear. It's in widescreen. I haven't seen it this beautiful before. It's unreal. So it's John Borman.
John Borman.
We love him.
And it's like written, directed by John Borman. It's like auteur stuff. It's like very odd subject matter, very singular. Definitely the sort of movie you make when you've got some capital, like you've got some, and it's also the sort of movie that might get you put in director's jail, but it's like a shot for the fences. Like, nobody was asking for Zardoz, but it was a story he had to tell. It's got the cinematographer is Jeffrey Unsworth, cinematographer from Superman.
Oh,
so like
shit.
That beautiful sort of smoky,
great.
hazy look of Superman. Zardoz could also take place in the same universe as Superman because, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, after the people at DC Comics saw Zardoz, they created a Zardoz lookalike character as a Superman villain called Vartox.
Oh my god!
so it does all come together that we got Jeffrey Unsworth. Like, Jeffrey Unsworth is very much the secret sauce of Superman, I feel, and his presence is definitely missed when you get to Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, because he dies before Superman, before it reaches the screen, so he's not, obviously not available for any of the sequels.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah, great,
so gorgeous,
great looking movie. And then it feels to me almost like a comic story in like Heavy Metal magazine or something, but it's an original, like a director with all the resources of making like a big Hollywood production, applying that sort of cartoonist ethos, that 70s like heavy metal ethos, but to like an original outlandish sci-fi concept.
Like when I would watch it before, this is a vibe. I'd vibe out on it. This time I was like, I'm gonna try to like lock in on it. And this is like I didn't realize exactly what's going on there. I'm like, this is so awesome. Like,
yeah, you gotta watch it a couple times to like really get, like, again, like you said, it's a vibe. Like, you watch it and you just kind of soak in the crazy visuals, the sound design, just like the world building and stuff. But yeah, it is like there's a lot going on, and you kind of and it does it makes sort of interesting narrative jumps, like the way you cut from like just the appearance of Zardoz and all the stuff Zardoz does, and then all of a sudden Sean Connery's like a stowaway inside of Zardoz.
The original guy that they had cast was Burt Reynolds.
I could see that.
And I think Burt Reynolds dropped out. I think it caused a falling out between him and Borman.
Okay.
Because he's like, I made you kind of like with Deliverance. And he's like, can you do me a solid and like star in Zardoz?
Well, it does feel like it's Burt Reynolds' loss that he didn't get to be in, like he really missed it. But then it's also like, this is kind of the last thing Burt Reynolds needed. Because it is like, people do kind of like goof on Sean Connery like in this, because it is like it's a very odd look that he has. So like Sean Connery doesn't give a shit, but I feel like Burt Reynolds is a little more thin-skinned, so it would have bothered him more, But this is the perfect like follow-up to his role in Deliverance. Yeah. It is almost like, oh, this is the guy from Deliverance. This is his great grandson. You know what I mean? Like in the future, this this is what that guy is in the year 3000 or
Now,
whatever.
Connery's mustachioed in this. Do you think if Reynolds was the star, would he go sans mustache for this?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the mustache was like that's the role. The mustache is, and it is a really interesting look. Like, just aside from the fact that it's like, yeah, it's like a lot of skin or whatever. Like, yeah, he's got. Connery's got this thick mustache, and then he's like practically bald, but like skullet, like it's all
super
all in the back. The hair's all in the back. Written, produced, directed by John Borman. So it's like
Let's go.
He's using all his power, to like make this.
He's got a blank check.
Yeah, but he's making something like really, like outlandish, like really wouldn't exist otherwise,
And I think it's a blessing Sean Connery's in this.
Oh, of course,
because his Reynolds would, like you were saying, Reynolds would have too much of a twinkle in his eye and stuff.
Yeah, Connery is like a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, he's badass in this.
I love all the fourth wall stuff, and it's like right there from the first scene. Like Borman's really saying something with this. People had been telling me for a bunch of years, like, you gotta see this movie. And so it was kind of built up, and then I finally saw it, and I was transfixed from that first scene where it's like this floating head. He's got some kind of like ancient Egyptian headdress.
Awesome.
He's got like a drawn-on beard and mustache. His head is like floating around, and he's talking directly to you, and he's telling you who he is and stuff. And he's like, I'm a figment, like I don't really exist, like I'm just a character in a movie. But then, like, what are you? Like you're, like who dreamt you up? And is God in show business? Like, just this really like
awesome
heady intro, just speaking directly to you. And then when it gets to like, and the way that intro sets things up through the movie, because then it's like you see him again, and you don't get a ton of explanation, but you have that scene from the beginning that kind of like make you perk up when you see him. And then there's all the kind of like sci-fi stuff, this giant floating stone head that like spits out guns and ammunition in piles to these barbarians that are like wearing like masks that are him. And then you get Sean Connery and his guys all like shooting everything up, and then he like points this gun right at you, the viewer, and pulls the trigger. And so it is like, there's some like just speaking directly to the viewer through this whole thing.
I forgot about the AI part. Well, there's like an artificial intelligence too. I'm like,
yeah,
it was one thing after another that I'm like,
as it unfolds, it does make sense. There's explanations, there's twists. Without spoiling it or anything, it's also got kind of like a Planet of the... the whole thing just has this like... It feels like it's got some kinship with Planet of the Apes. I mean, just, science fiction, 70s science fiction. It's like out of that tradition. But it's also got like a Planet of the Apes type twist that's very inventive, very fun. It's got like... I feel like there's a limited number of possible ways to do that kind of Planet of the Apes type twist, and this movie has one more version of like a different twist on it, like an interesting little twist, and it doesn't come at the very end. It comes earlier than that.
This like that other sci-fi. There's a sci-fi show, The Prisoner.
Yeah.
This has the same kind of like thing, the feeling where like weird sci-fi interesting stuff is happening in like a bucolic like green setting, like a beautiful like,
well, yeah, because
that
there's sort of like this wasteland where Zed, Sean Connery's character, and his guys all sort of rampage, but most of the movie takes place in this, like you said, it's kind of like the village in The Prisoner. It takes place in this little picturesque village, and everybody's got these sort of old-timey clothes, and
it's such it has...
but then there's weird sci-fi touches like these bubbles and things.
And then this pre-Star Wars, there's some sound effects in this section that sounds like exactly like R2-D2.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the hologram like that pops up.
Yeah.
This movie is so awesome. I got this on a whim. Like, I was like, what the fuck is this? I bought the DVD without knowing anything about it.
The sideburns all cola, and then it comes back into this like ponytail and the mustache. I tried showing it to my dad, and he couldn't tolerate it. Like, I was like, Dad, you got to see this movie. I think it might have been like my birthday too. I'm like, come on, Dad, do me a favor. Like, watch Zardoz.
Please.
And he just was like, he's like, I can't do it. Like, he just saw like the little intro part. and he was like, it was just like, he's like, this is too depressing. This, like, maybe it was like the thing with like how it's like spitting out guns. And here's a stack of guns. It's like, the gun is good, the penis is evil. Like, what a bold thing to have in your kind of like sci-fi movie, like right up front too. Also, sci-fi around this time was kind of like, it was a little bit of like a kids genre too. So it was like to do a sci-fi that's R-rated sci-fi, pre-Alien,
Like,
was kind of a bold move. And then, yeah, Homo sapiens Eternal. Now, this, I saw a lot of commonalities between this and Jack Kirby's Eternals. This predates Jack Kirby's Eternals, yet it has characters called Eternals, and they are like, they cannot die. Like, they are eternal. And so I feel like, I mean, and Kirby was like a sci-fi fan. I feel like, and there's not a ton of sci-fi movies, especially sort of serious sci-fi movies coming out at this time. So I gotta feel Jack Kirby saw this movie.
Oh yeah, this is one hell of a picture, and like there's just so many layers and stuff. I didn't even I forgot somehow I forgot about that opening with the head, and when I saw it this time, I'm like, is this the best intro I've ever seen?
Yeah, it really does like kick things off in a really interesting way. Yeah, it got this like crystal ring that like projects stuff, and just the special effects, the special effect of this giant floating like evil stone god head and stuff, and in a like in a like all practical effects kind of thing. It's just wonderful. Like, who cares about James Bond? This is Sean Connery's role.
Sean Connery should have done more
Zardoz. Yeah, where's Zardoz too? Now, I mean, I didn't look into this aspect of it, but I'm assuming this movie had to have bombed hard.
Yeah, it was a bomb.
It's just way too visionary. Now, obviously, like, the people at DC Comics saw it and were like, we love this movie. If this were a comic book, or if this were like an installment of Heavy Metal magazine, it would be this like revered thing. But because it's a movie, and again, a movie like pre-Star Wars, it was just like a little too early. Also, if this movie came out 10 years later, I think it would still be like too much for a mainstream movie audience to swallow.
Borman would bounce back with Excalibur after this.
Yeah, what a one! Like, I love Excalibur also. Like, what a 1-2 punch! Like, those are great. And to me, Excalibur is every bit as like weird and unsettling, but it does follow a little more of like a linear progression, and there are sort of characters you can relate to and root for in Excalibur, where in this it's like, the central character of Zed is, he's not a hero. He's an anti-hero, I guess, would be and then even the sort of Eternals aren't so great either.
John Borman has like a nice tight filmography. He doesn't have too many flicks. Mm-hmm. He's got Point Blank with Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin, yeah, a lot of tough guy movies, and it does feel like this is a commentary on sort of like the tough guy and what does it mean and what are we really saying by having these movies where it's like a dude with a gun. And
I love Burt Reynolds, but I'm so glad Connery's in this. Burt Reynolds would be smirking in the bushes. He's like, Tom DeLuise as is the guy at the beginning.
This is perfect as it is. I wonder if it would have been a hit with Reynolds. I wonder. I mean, Reynolds had his share of bombs.
Oh yeah,
too, so.
He's notorious. Kind of like Sean Connery, not so much, but like Reynolds passing up on stuff. Like,
but I feel like if you are like a John Borman, like, you got to do a movie like this. You can't just play it safe. Mm-hmm. You got like, what's the point of having some clout if you don't do something like this? And obviously, like with Excalibur, you could tell like, okay, he wants to do these kind of like fantasy movies, these kind of heady kind of trips,
And this is 20th Century Fox, so it's a big studio. I'm like, thanks studio heads that greenlit
this.
Yes.
Well, 20th Century Fox is also Planet of the Apes, so they probably thought like, oh yeah, maybe. And again, it has like that cool twist. I could see them being like, oh yeah, this is.
Look at this shot here.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, Jeffrey Unsworth, cinematographer. Can't beat it.
This came out of Borman's attempts. Borman was trying to do a Lord of the Rings.
Interesting. Okay.
Like, he was going hard in the paint trying to get that off the ground.
Yeah, because I mean, Excalibur. That's interesting. It is so funny, like all these attempts at Lord of the Rings when you hear about them. Because like I do tend to think of, I mean, obviously Lord of the Rings was like written in the 40s and stuff, but I do tend to think of it as this like early 2000s thing, you know? So it is funny, like, oh wow, like there is an Atari Lord of the Rings prototype. Like there is a game that almost came out towards the tail end of the Atari 2600's run. That's a Lord of the Rings game, and to me that's like, whoa, that's so weird. And yeah, that the Beatles wanted to get the rights to Lord of the Rings so they could do a Lord of the Rings movie. Like all this stuff is so crazy to me.
But then, yeah, I still get, it bumps me too with the National Lampoons. Like they had that like Lord of the Rings spoof novel. Yeah. I can't remember what that was.
There's like a Monkeys episode with some Lord of the Rings references too. But yeah, that's interesting to know. So this was like him trying to get into like a sort of Lord of the Rings space. And then Excalibur, like even close, it's like, okay, I can't do Lord of the Rings, but I can do, like anybody can do the Arthurian legends. And it really, like, Excalibur is still the best like cinematic expression of the Arthur legend.
It's so awesome. I still can't believe a teacher screamed that in high school.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, on horseback, kind of on the beach.
Yeah, these are two movies that I own on DVD. Is now with just this will place the era, but when I first saw Zardoz, I rented it at Heads Together Video in Squirrel Hill, because like Heads Together was like the videos, like stuff that you're not going to get at West Coast or Blockbuster. Like if you want something really like weird and off the beaten path, you have to go to Heads Together. So like Heads Together had their like copy of Zardoz like well displayed there.
This is a good movie to put on, like, well, I mean, not at a party, but like it's a
depending on what kind of party it is.
But like you put it on, and every time you look away and you look back, there's something like
because again this shot here, it does make me think again of like something you'd see in Heavy Metal Magazine, and I think Heavy Metal Magazine probably was around. This is like 74 or something. I feel like Heavy Metal Magazine might have been around at this point, but it does look like one of the sort of double page spreads or whatever you'd have in those, because it's the same tone. Because Heavy Metal, it was like it would be sort of whimsical sci-fi fantasy with adult, like nudity kind of twist.
Heavy Metal Magazine come to life.
Yeah, really. The sort of written, directed, produced kind of feels, again, it feel like I feel a kinship to this. Like I feel like it's like a cartoonist. Like like a cartoonist doesn't have like the budget or the resources, but this is the type of story that like a cartoon, especially a cartoonist in the 70s, would make.
He put all his cards on the table with this one.
Yeah.
I think he pulled out all the stops. This would be a great double feature with Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, or a triple feature, like Planet of the Apes, this, and then Excalibur.
Oh my god!
Just, one into the other. It is like I do of the two. Like this is the more singular. This one has like sequences that like stick with me. It also like it's like super intriguing, but then also bothers me. But where Excalibur is a lot more like just like bam, like I feel like I just have more of a good time with Excalibur. But also the Arthur Frayne character, the floating head who like talks to you at the beginning, has so much in common with the Merlin character of Excalibur. Because the Merlin character in Excalibur also felt like he was like a man out of time. Like that character, it seemed like he knew he was in a movie or something, which again fits like Merlin. And I think in the intro, I think he does make a reference to Merlin, like he refers to himself as like Merlin too. So it's interesting having that carry through.
It like lingers with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll have to do Excalibur in the near future, like a review of Excalibur, because Excalibur is like one of my favorite movies ever.
If you haven't seen Zardoz, like carve out some time.
Yeah, it is a must see, and like just all those people out there who like use this as sort of like a punchline or make fun of, this is the real deal.
This is the shit.
There's just so much going on.
It feels like there was
it's something to meditate on, you know.
There definitely wasn't any studio interference on this movie.
Yeah, it is like the perfect expression of what he was trying to communicate. And there's no other universe where this movie exists.